Moved and I've kept on moving. Prove the points that I needed proving. Lost the friends I needed losing. Found others on the way. Sipped cigars and left them crying. Stolen dreams, yes, there's no denying. I've traveled hard, sometimes unconscious flying. Somewhere way the wind. So let me tell you that I love you. Then I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me. Now I'm going home. And if I should become a stranger, know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. Let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me. Now I'm going home. But if I should become a stranger, know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. Ah, that's a great song. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Midwest Miniature Guys. Oh, whoop. Midwest Miniature Guys Music Sunday. No, sorry, I'm going to turn that down here and turn it off. How y'all doing? Thanks for popping in tonight. I appreciate you watching. Today was it's not done yet, but today is my daughter's 23rd birthday. So, in celebration of her 20th, oh, almost slipped into a little Irish brogue there. In celebration of my daughter's 23rd birthday, we'll be painting a 23-year-old red dragon from Wizards of the Coast is what will be painted tonight. And so, let's not, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Oh man, I don't actually talk like that, I swear. Hello. So this is the dragon. This dragon, I'm not kidding you, is from either 1998 or 1999. It's either 23, 24 years old, something stupid like that. Originally from the Wizards of the Coast. I know, oh no, not WotC. From their D&D line of 3rd edition figures. So we can't hold it too much against them. It's 3rd edition. I mean, 3rd edition was pretty good, right? Right? Anyway. But this is the dragon here. This is the dragon that like about a month or so ago I tried to put together, and it didn't have the head, and I think it was missing a wing or something stupid like that. But I actually ended up having it because I bought it that long ago when I first started painting. And yes, I'm still kind of touching up a little bit of the the primer here as I'm seeing some gray and some metal still poking through. I actually did paint it as a red dragon, except I painted it horribly bad because I was just learning how to paint. And in fact, this is one of those figures where I hadn't used primer, so the paint came off pretty darn well when I stripped it because I didn't use primer. So it just, but it is also one of the reasons why my thumb is still red, because I used acetone on it, stripped all the paint off of it, and it stained. Actually, it stained my hands. It was bad because they were just like just stained with red paint that had come off of this guy. I did some fixes on him because the ankles on these were horribly sculpted and then even more horribly cut to supposedly fit on the base. Now the feet are actually sculpted onto the base, so I actually built up this whole ankle right here with green stuff to kind of mold it further into the leg. Same with this section here, and I did a little bit here on the wrist ankle of the front right. I green stuffed around the neck because there was a huge gap, and I did a little bit around the wings, even though it doesn't look like it. I may have to go in and maybe do a little bit more. No, we might be okay. We might be okay. And then I also tried to green stuff more around the tail here. But you can see that the tail still needs a little bit of filling, so I may end up doing that as well. Or maybe I'll run a line of super glue over it to kind of smooth that out. Oh, and also this arm needed a little bit of that as well. So I did all that, got the green stuff on there, and just got it primed tonight, so we should be good for some painting. Should be good. This is the base that we're going to be putting it on. It's going to sit here-ish, like so. Kind of back like that. I've got this lovely treasure chest that's going to go right there. I've got some coins and bags that's going to go on the side over here, probably right here. I've got another pile of coins that we got to paint. I've got a shield. I've got a sword. And I've got a helmet. That's right, we're going to put on some more basing terrain on this as well. We got to fill in this whole base with stuff. And I have another idea too. And if you permit me for just a moment, I'm going to leave the screen here for just a second. I'm even put my glasses down so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, I may not be able to get to it. Oh, bother. Oh, no, I can't get to them right now. Anyway, I have some really cool cavern pieces that I might put around the edge of the base as well. This is going to be a big commission. This is one I'm going to be working on for a while. So, I guess, reading my customer's notes here, was hoping for darker blackish shading on the outer wings with orangish brown underbelly and inner wings. Maybe a little black along the back. Christian, I think we can make this happen. We can do it. I thought about putting this cool piece of scroll, all these scrolls and stuff, on there as well, but it's just too big. Like, it's already got a nice base on it, and it's just too big for the base, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get going on it. Darker blackish shading on outer wings with orangish brown underbelly. Ooh. I have just the thing for that, and I think that's what we're going to start with first. Orangish brown underbelly. This makes me think of these paints right here. For an orange brown, we have russet brown, we have harvest brown, we have orange brown, and burnt orange. That is going to be our underbelly. And before we get any further, we're gonna do this first because the underbelly is just kind of sucks. Well, it's underneath. It's all underneath. I remember painting this thing the first time and realizing that the underbelly was just a ginormous pain in the behind. So even if we get just a quick base coat of the russet on here, we can keep working on some other stuff while this dries. I get a good amount of that. Grab our wing here. Grab a bigger brush. Okay, it's not going to be too stinking bad. Got some water on our brush here. Well, I hope all of you have had a good weekend. I did almost nothing yesterday. It was, well, I can't say that. I had to go out and shovel 9.5 inches of snow off of our deck so our dogs could go to the bathroom, and then I had to go outside and snowblow our driveway because we got a ginormous snowstorm here in the Midwest. So that was fun. No, it wasn't. It was not fun at all. And it was wet, heavy, nasty snow at that. And then, of course, the snowplow came by and plowed the end of my driveway in, so thankfully my across the street neighbor was out and helped me clear out that crap, which was nice of him to do. You know, it's interesting going back and painting an older figure after you've painted it years ago and going, oh, that's where this is. That's what this part is. And I know how to do this a whole lot better now. And so I'm going to. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a little blending here. We'll create right underneath the neck, right down into the chest, the lower jaw. Yeah, we'll use that. A little bit of a line right there. Just like that. Oh, hey, that just popped right off. Okay. My gluing job did not do it good enough. That's fine. We can do that later. We'll put it back on later. I'm okay with that. And to keep that going, we're just going to go right straight down the bottom of the tail. Actually makes it lighter, so that's okay. I shouldn't put the wings on yet anyway. And right there. Durka, just like that. And so we got our nice russet brown on that belly. You know what, that shouldn't have fallen off. I'm not sure what happened there. Let's fix it. My daughter, when she was younger, and even myself, I remember just saying it too. I'd go up to my mom, and she would come up to me. My daughter would anyway, and something would, a toy or something like that would be broken, and she'd go, "Fick it, Daddy, fick it." Okay, kiddo, let's see what I can do. Let's fick it. And zoop. There we go. It'll stay there now. Aha. Okay. I tried pretty quick, so let's go ahead and grab our... And I'm not going to rush this. This is going to be a long process, so... The belly won't take super long because there's not a whole lot. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm going to grab my size 1 here. So now we're onto the Harvest Brown. My daughter is not a tabletop RPG player. She likes Magic the Gathering. She plays that with us and with her fiance. But she loves board games. But her fiance has gotten her into playing Rainbow Six, which is a first-person shooter, which I never thought she would get into first-person shooters. Her and I absolutely loved to play Star Wars Battlefront 2 when it came out on the PS2. That was her game, her and I together, and we would either play together, on the same team, or we'd go head to head. And we had just an absolute blast playing those games. But she's got her own computer now. They built her one. She's excited because she's getting a new CPU, and she's like, "Oh, I can't work." And that was their big theme tonight. Her and I don't know, 4 or 5 other folks were getting together, and they were all doing an online play of Rainbow Six tonight, which means I'm sure she's going to be having a glass of wine with that as well, as she's playing and just having a good time, enjoying her birthday, as she should. There's not much detail to this. The only detail that you can really see is down here. So we don't have to go in and do a whole lot there. And who is texting me? Huh? Who's texting me right now? Let's see who's all in chat right now. Quick Venom's watching. Hey, Quick, how you doing? Delotix, Lisa Bay, and Kata. Hey, we got 5 viewers. Ouroboros, what's happening? Good to see ya. It was Todd. Slow Sunday for you? Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad it has been a good Sunday for you. That is awesome. Pretty good Sunday for me, too. Kim went grocery shopping, and then I was playing a video game for a little while. I was still working on Red Dead. And then got cleaned up and went to my daughter's birthday lunch dinner thing. And now we're came home and now we're doing some painting. Yeah, I'm just playing Red Dead 2 on PS4, so I'm not playing online or streaming or anything like that. It'd be a ton of fun. I've got a really great character idea, but I just don't have the time. I would love to do something like that, but I think I would get sucked in and be on for like 12 hours and I just have a little laptop here too, so I don't think I would be super functional to be able to do a video game stream. Then I have to be accepted into WildRP, and I probably have to do a different stream, server before I can get into that. And yeah, I just play for fun. But I've got a great character idea. At least I think it's a great character idea. All right, now we're doing our orange brown. Yeah, when it's good, it's very hard to break. I mean, even just watching it. Like I'll watch Kai and I'll watch Johnny Blams and Thay Lin, Yeka. You know, I'll watch all of those. Heck, I'll even pop into Vertigo and Meyer every once in a while. And the storylines are so good. And the RPers are just top notch. They're great improv. They're great storytellers. Um, but yeah, I get sucked into that, and it's 4, 8, 10, 12 hours, and I'm like, oh geez, I need to be going to bed or doing something else. But they're very good role players, and I've been role playing for like 30 years or more. Oh my gosh. Let's see, I'll be 48, and I started role playing when I was 15. So do the math, because I can't. I'm dumb. But yeah, I mean, I started with D&D. We went to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Amber, the diceless role playing game. I mean, just you know, any role playing game out there for the most part we tried. I played Middle Earth role playing, for, the old MERP system, which is Rollmaster Light kind of, Pathfinder. Just darn near everything. There's quite a few out there, especially the new stuff that we haven't played. But Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf, Mage, The Ascension. I mean, there were so many. Top Secret, Spycraft, um, West End Games, Star Wars. It's just so I am an avid role player. I even created. We play tested 4 or 5 sessions of my Outlaws and Law Dogs game, which is based on Red Dead Redemption. And had fun. I had a ton of fun. I think I think I got to narrow down a couple of mechanic aspects and clean it up a little bit. But I think I've got a pretty cool Red Dead role playing game for home use. I might run it for, I was thinking about going to GaryCon next year and running it there. You know, just a couple, 4 to 6 hours, and running it there and doing the train heist that I set up for these guys, and just had a total blast with it. We'll see. We'll see if we can afford going next year or not, because we're gonna go to Gamehole Con this year in Madison in October, and I really, really want to. I'm trying to talk to Kim. I gotta talk to Kim into trying and going to ReaperCon down in Denton, Texas, because I really want to go. Maybe I'll just go. Maybe she'll let me go by myself. Because I really want to go to that and take some painting classes from some of my friends and mentors down there, painting mentors, so I can get even better at painting little metal men. You haven't heard of ReaperCon? Ooh, ReaperCon's been going on for a while now. 10 years? Something like that. And it's super cool. I mean, not only can you play role-playing games down there, but there are a ton of miniature painting classes that you can take. From like painting skin, painting object source lighting, painting non-metallic metal, stuff like that. I want to say it's going on in September. Go to reapermini.com and you can get all of the information on ReaperCon 2023. And check it out. It's a cool place. You get to meet a lot of really cool people. I think you even get to do a what am I trying to think of? A tour of the Reaper Miniatures factory is what I'm trying to think of. I think you can sign up to do that, which is pretty freaking cool. So yeah, check it out if that's something that you all are interested in. ReaperCon. Adepticon was just last weekend. I think that would be a fun one to go to, but it's right around like the GaryCon time frame, so I might not be able to do that one. That and then Adepticon. I mean, there's a lot of other companies that are there, but Adepticon is mostly your Games Workshop, Warhammer, Age of Sigmar fest. So lots of Citadel and Games Workshop stuff going on there, which I'm not opposed to. If that's what you like, that's great. Go paint. Go have fun. Slay the gray, as Ninjan would say. But yeah. I've got so much gray to slay right now. Okay, so the excuse me. The client has wanted a orangey brown underbelly, so I think that looks pretty darn good. Kind of went with like an autumnal theme there. So we've got russet brown, harvest brown, orange brown, and then burnt orange. Those are the 4 colors that we used on the belly. I'm going to call that good. Which means I'm not going to mess around with it anymore. Thank you, Ouroboros. I appreciate that. And I'm going through water like crazy. Like my throat's really dry. Mm. Next spot. That's okay. I need to drink. I need to drink more water anyway. Not like I don't drink a ton of water, but I need to drink more water. Okay, so it's a red dragon, darker blackish shading on outer wings. With with orange brown underbelly and inner wings. So we need to do the inner wings the same color as we did the belly. Okay, cool. All right. Oh yeah, I got a whole pack of this stuff. Okay, so inner wings, also the same color as the underbelly. I gotta read more. I gotta read my notes here better. I thought we were done with these colors. No, we're fine. We're fine. We're fine. It's all good. Because we're painting, we're having fun. Okay. Grabbing our russet brown again. Yeah, this will be actually kind of a cool contrast too. I think this guy picked a really cool contrasting colors here. Still in the red tones, but with some brown in here. That's why I like when my clients will go, "These are the colors I want." Sweet. It means I don't have to pick them. I don't have to figure out what's going to look cool. You've already picked out what colors you want. And it doesn't matter because it's your colors. So if I think they look silly, it doesn't matter because it ain't my mini. It's your mini. And I'm painting it for you. So you can have purple with pink polka dots for all I care. It's your figure. Okay, I gotta make sure that this guy does not fall off my carrying case thing here. My holder. Yes, see, exactly. I had a ton of fun painting up my my cowboy and lawman minis too. I think you saw those. They're Ouroboros. That was fun. But I was glad to get them done though. And I might get more. I'm looking at I'm going to my favorite local game shop on Tuesday. And I'm gonna look in there. Zombicide game has it's like Undead Western or something like that. Undead West, something like that. So I might take a look at picking up that box set because it's got the survivors, which are great cowboy gunslinger-esque figures and would fit in very well with my Reaper ones. But then also some zombies? Cowboy zombies? Might be fun. Might be fun. Okay, so that's our russet brown. That's what we used for the underbelly shadow tone. But now I gotta let it dry. So, darker blackish shading on outer wings. What I'm thinking, what I'm gonna do with that is first find it. Where did I put it? Yeah. I'm going to grab some Corvus Black. This is more of a dark gray. So I'm going to use this as my base coat for the darker blackish shading on the outer wings here. And that way I can actually shade down with a black wash. So you see how that's going to look totally different. This nice dark gray compared to that russet underbelly and wings. Two completely different colors. If I can kind of blend them in a little bit on the edges here. That'd be good. So Kim and I, she has an iPad, and she's got Apple TV on her iPad. There is a new movie out there called Tetris with Taron Egerton, who, as most of you are aware, he was in the Kingsman movies, right? He plays Eggy. He also played Elton John in Rocketman. He's been in a couple others too. Good actor. I actually really enjoy him quite a bit. It is about the creation of the game Tetris in 1988, and it's probably one of the wildest movies I have seen in a long time. I would highly suggest watching it. It's very good. It's very well acted. It's a lot about like the rights to the game and how Nintendo eventually got them. It was amazing, the stuff that this guy went through to get the rights to the game and then get them to Nintendo. I'm not going to give anything away. You just go watch it if you get a chance. Go watch Tetris. Kim and I were both towards the end of the movie just like holding our breath. Because there's some, I wouldn't say there's some spy stuff to it, but there is definitely like they're being chased by the KGB, and who he thinks his interpreter is a KGB agent following him around and taking photos and like trying to blackmail him, and it was just this roller coaster of what's happening. How's this even? How's this gonna? I mean, obviously, Nintendo got the rights to it. Oh, and just the creation of the game itself. Like, I had no idea about the guy that created Nintendo. I knew that he was a Russian dude. I knew it was all, you know, it was from Russia and all that. But he literally started the game or created the game using parentheses. And yeah, just the intrigue that went behind it. It was just amazing. So I'm gonna put a little bit of this gray right through here, like that. Just to give a little overlap. Yes, Tetris was created in Russia. A dude created it in his home computer, and he was literally was using parentheses for the shapes. It's marvelously simple and yet genius the way that he created Tetris. So yeah, go watch the movie. I can't say enough good things about it. It was very good. It was very fun. Okay, so there's our dark gray outer wings with our russet brown underwings. Now we can close this up. Whoa. Yeah, you're welcome. Like I said, it's an Apple TV movie original. So if you have that, go for it. Watch it. It's very good. And the people that they have playing some of the more historical characters, because this is based on a true story, right? They got the actors to, through some makeup and whatever, like they have Mikhail Gorbachev in the movie, and the guy that they got to play him looked like Mikhail Gorbachev. I was like down to the birthmark on his top of his head. It was wild. I don't know. I didn't watch all of the credits, and I really should have. I don't know where exactly they filmed it at, but some of those buildings and the vehicles and stuff, they could have filmed in Russia. I mean, just crazy the amount of detail that they got, like down to the costuming, and everything was very late 80s. They were showing how they were creating the Game Boy. That was one of the other things too, is that they were trying to get the handheld rights, not just only for the computer games, but the video game, the arcade rights. I mean, it's all about like the contracts and who's got what rights for what, and who started out with the original rights, and stuff like that. And yeah, just what? How does this all happen? And I won't say that it led to the downfall of the Soviet Union, but it was a harbinger of the downfall of the Soviet Union, which was amazing. Especially with some of the Soviets, especially Gorbachev, like they had a dialogue with him saying, my people want freedom and freedom of speech and this and that, and Russia, the Soviet Union is slowly dying, or and I'm like, yeah, it is, dude. You nailed that. That and some of the things that the communists and the Russian government were doing to people. I turned and I looked at Kim and I said, this is why I don't like communism. We grew up in this time. There's a reason why I am a small c capitalist. I'm not a crony capitalist person. But holy cow. Yeah, this was I think Gen X and some of the folks that came out of that time, we got to step it up, man. We got to be better. We have to stop not caring about stuff and just do better. All right, now we're going to go with, sorry, there's my political rant for the evening. Yeah. Bull. Communism is a great system that nobody has gotten to work. There's a reason why nobody's gotten it to work, because the system sucks. And it just leads to multiple people being killed and the top people getting rich. And what? Why would we want that? Communism leads to suffering. If we haven't figured that out in the last 50 years, 70 years, I mean, Russia was the great, communist experiment, and China is still trying to do it. And I don't know, man. I try to stay apolitical because this is a painting page, but that movie had me going. This is why we should not ever try it, because it leads to these little bureaucrats just. Yeah. Anyway, these little snarky bureaucrats lining their pockets with basically taxpayer money. And this is why I'm libertarian, folks. Thanks, Oro. Appreciate it. Yeah, like I said, I try not to get political on here. This is a painting page. This is a painting stream. Get back to painting your red dragon, you schmuck. A red dragon that so far we have painted nothing but oranges and browns. Fully automated luxury communism? What? No, apparently I have not heard of this. What? Oh. It's the same thing but with robots? Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, that's the whole, AI thing, right? Once AI takes over, you won't ever have to work again, and you'll be in the lap of luxury with your working robot. They will do all the chores for you. They will do all the work for you. So all you'll have to do is sit back in your big comfy Barca lounger, drink your 800-ounce, bladder busters, and eat nothing but sugary foods. So eventually you'll die, and the robots will take over. And the 1% will rule the world. Sounds like the game Paranoia, man. Yeah, no. See, I get it. I can talk to the cows come home on this stuff. It's just that 3/4 of my friends lean a little bit further on one side than I do. Oh, and believe me, I am not a Donald Trumper. I am not a Donald Trumper. Don't ever equate me with that schmuck. He's a grifter and a charlatan and a. I don't like that guy since I started reading more about him. He's just a putz. You see more games showing it as a horror story than people mention in real. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because it is. It is a horror story. Don't worry. When you die, we'll just have another clone of you to keep going on. And they'll have all the same memories as you do. Because we'll download your consciousness into that. No, I've had conversations with my. So we're going now into the burnt orange. We finally gotten all the other stuff, on the wings here. We're moving them out into the burnt orange to get back into the painting aspect of the show here. But I've had conversations with my friend uh, John from Milwaukee, and he comes over about once or twice a year, and we'll play games and chat and whatnot. And my question is, where are all the great statesmen like, I don't know, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, um, uh, oh, what's his name? Oh shoot, he was one of the first African American senators or whatever. What was it, Booker Washington? Yeah, that was Booker Washington. Um, he was a lawyer or something like that too. I don't. Dang it, man! We just had Black History Month. Why don't I remember all this? Because I'm old, my brain just doesn't want to work anymore. It's holding enough information. Um, some of these folks, give me a, heck, even give me a John F. Kennedy or a Martin Luther King Jr., or somebody that we can actually look up to as a leader and emulate, point to our kids. Kid's 23 now, she's done. Um, but, point to our kids or our grandkids, what have you, and say, this is a statesman. This is who we should be emulating in our government, and not these schmucks over here that are just taking your money and pissing it away. Ooh, whew, okay, there's yeah, demonetization on YouTube. Da, 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 da. Remember, folks, I dislike both sides equally. Anyway, okay, so we got the underside, got the underbelly done, we got the underwings done. That's kind of a cool color, isn't it? I kind of dig that. I like that. I mean, I've used it before, but it's interesting to see it. on like not a belt or a cape or a piece of armor. So yeah, kind of cool to see that. We've got our dark gray on the flip it around here, on the upper wings. And I think what we're going to do now is we're going to take, where is it? Bloody heck, where did I put half this crap? Where'd it go? There it is. Yeah, it's the system we have, but it's not the system that the actual founding fathers wanted. So, what are you going to do? So I'm going to take a little bit of Black Templar. I'm going to put it on my palette. What? What are we doing here? We're not taking it right from the... Nope, we're not. We're going to put it on our palette like so. Politics don't make for great conversation. Well, yes and no. If we can actually have a civil conversation and an intelligent conversation, one-on-one or even in a group, where it doesn't come down to, oh, I don't know, name calling and such, and when it comes down to one side calling one side racist, another side calling the other side socialist or whatever, if we could just have a conversation, an actual one, where we speak on, and again, intelligent, yeah, if it can't stay, if it can stay civil, it's good. However, both sides at this time can't do it. My friend is currently in Washington, D.C. right now on spring break with his youngest kid. And I said, ooh, have fun, but, you know, you'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. So we're taking a little bit of this Lamia medium. This is going to... It'll help thin this paint down just a little bit, but also keep a decent opacity. And again, this is kind of more of a black gray or a dark gray. It's called Black Templar, but when you put it over white, it darkens everything down pretty well. But I wanted to thin it out just a little bit so you can see where it gets a little bit more translucent. And I want that so when I go over this, it'll get down into the creases of the wings, almost like a wash, but not using like Nuln Oil or something like that. But we'll get down into the wings, and it dries pretty quick too. But we'll get down into the wings here. And then if we need to, we can do some highlighting or a darker wash if we need to. See what it's doing there? It's getting down in, yeah, you can't see it. It's getting down into the cracks and crevices there of the wing, like so. We can even add a little bit more. And like so. Alright, so we're going to let that dry. I need to grab a couple more colors here. So what I'm going to do is show you, like if I'm just going to leave that light off. If I had dry brushed white over the top of this helmet, you'd be able to pick out kind of like the edges and stuff like that. Wee bitty helmet, yes. This is actually the helmet for the mountain that rides from Dark Sword Miniatures, their George R. R. Martin Game of Thrones line. But he's gonna be used as a head on this base here. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this Black Templar that we've thinned down, and I'm just gonna show you what this looks like once we go over even gray. It almost gives you a non-metallic metal look without having to do non-metallic metal. Like so. You can go in and add a little bit more. Isn't that cool? I think that's very cool. You can also do it with blades. I can show you like zoop. And we're not going to see the underneath of this sword anyway. But that way you can see like where you want to put your shadows and your highlights and stuff like that. You can even get a little bit darker down here. Go over the cross guard and the pommel. Stuff like that. So it's a kind of cool technique to be able to use and speed up your painting a little bit, or at least give you an idea of where your highlights and shadows and midtones and stuff are going to go. So yes, old guys are still learning new stuff too. Alright, so I want... Is this the red? Yes. Now we're going to move on to our dragon. And I'm going to be using, this is Pro-Acryl Burnt Red. Now the Pro-Acryl stuff I have been finding only takes, sometimes it only takes one coat rather than two. Because it is, you can thin it down super well. Like a brush full of water here, and it's still going to hold its opacity. We'll see how well it does on this. So we're going to grab this. So yeah, it's the contrast paints and speed paints. I kind of use them as a washes or stains. So there's our burnt red. And it's really not wanting to go on that for some reason, right in there. That is where I put the green stuff, so that could be the issue. We'll just kind of have to cake that on. But right here, see that's gonna be a nice dark red, and we'll brighten that up. We'll shade it down, we'll brighten it up, and we'll get a really cool red out of this base coat, hopefully. As long as I don't muck it up, right? There's another reason why I did the underside first, is that I didn't want to have to try and... I always try and work from the inside out. And that was the most inside area, besides like back in here. Especially as we're just base coating this red now, we can kind of just get it all over here. Right down the tail. Ding, I always hit that stupid lamp at least once per stream. Hey, we're already an hour in. We're doing pretty good. Like I said, this dragon here will probably take me a couple of streams to get done, and I may do some work on it away from stream, just so I can get parts done, so I can get this back to its owner in a timely fashion, since I've had it since mid-February, but I've had other stuff come up, and band gigs, and birthdays, and stuff, so... Oh, this is... Yeah, I mean, granted, it's a big project, but this is not the biggest project that I would probably end up doing this year. I've got two of the Todd McFarlane Warhammer 40K Space Marines. Those are kind of personal projects. My friend Todd gave me those, so I'll probably end up painting those as well. I've got another dragon that I want to try and get done for my own personal project. I have other figures on my desk here that I'm still working on trying to finish up. Come on, paint stick. You're really just going to have to glob it on here. Oh, that's the other commission that I've got. I've got a car that I have to paint. It's a Ford Shelby Mustang. It's another project that my friend Todd gave me, and he wants it in super blue for a relative of his. So I'll be working on that. Don't know if I'll stream that. That's gonna be a project, because I got to try and do basically metallic, like a waxed super blue color. Yeah, here, I'll show you I'll let this dry a little bit, and I'll show you the car. So it's from it's Sean's Ford Mustang from the Fast and the Furious. However, where's the opening to these? How do these fragging? Oh, I see. I was like, how do these fragging things go? I don't want to rip this stuff. There. How does this open? Seriously, they want you to buy it, they don't want you to open the damn thing. Oh, here we go. Is it like a tab? Yep, it's a tab. So Sean's Mustang. This is the car that I have to try and repaint. Now, I've done this before with a Transformer that was a Ford Mustang. And honestly, I don't want to repaint this. Number one, it's a dark green, and it's my favorite freaking color. This dark green is one of my favorite freaking colors. My mom had a super dark green 1970 something Ford Galaxy 500. It was a land barge. It drove beautifully. That's one of the only Fords I ever loved. But look at that dark green. It's just a beauty. But he wants it in super blue. Okay, Todd. We'll get your brother's car in super blue. Just don't have your brother watch the stream. Oh, that's interesting because they have the other Fast and the Furious cars in the back. Is it harder to repaint a model that already had a finish on it? If I was smart, and if there wasn't plastic on that model, I would probably put it into acetone and strip all the paint and varnish and stuff on it and restart it. However, there are plastic parts to it, and I don't want to melt those plastic parts. So what I will probably do is take my gray primer and repaint, reprimer it, and then go from there with that super blue. And I gotta find out, I need to do a search on Ford Super Blue so I know exactly what color I'm working with here. Because I don't want to screw up that car. It's a cool car. And I'm not a Ford guy. I'm actually more of a Dodge guy. But the older Fords, the ones that actually worked, are great. Like I said, my mom had that Ford Galaxy 500, and I love that car. That was the car that I wanted to grow up and learn how to drive on, but it gave up the ghost way too soon. I love that car. Like I said, it was like a freaking land barge. Its cruising speed was like 70 to 75 miles an hour. And it felt like you were driving on a couch. Because it had the big long couch-like seats on in the front and back. It was just fun. It was a great car. Now I'm missing Mom. Yeah. Oh, it was super cool. Love that car. Is that? These are horns. Okay, I don't want. Well, okay. We're just gonna go like this. Look at those horns. I saw a, God, was it? Must have been a few years ago. We were walking around downtown Stillwater, Minnesota. And Stillwater, Minnesota is like this little touristy trap town. Um, it's got all the antique shops and all the little boutique shops, and it's down by the St. Croix River. And it's a beautiful, beautiful city. Downtown Stillwater is a beautiful area. But we're down there, and we're walking around, and I see this car, and I'm like, man, that's a Ford Galaxy. That's exactly like the one Mom had, but it looked black. But when you got it into the sun, just like my mom's, when you got it into the sun, you could tell. Like Mom's was this deep, dark green. This guy's, or whoever owned it, his was a deep, dark brown. And I was like, how the heck do they do that? Where if you get it right in the sun, you can see like right along the edge of the door, you could see what the actual color is. Just stunning. Back when cars had class too. Cars nowadays, they don't have the class. Okay, how about, let's say this. In my opinion, which is not, take it for what that is, the cars of the 90s and 2000s do not have the same class as even some cars from the 80s. But you go back into like the 40s or even the 1920s through the 70s, you had classic freaking cars, man. Classic cars. And I'm not a car guy. Like, I'm not a gearhead. I don't like working on cars. I don't know how to do that. But man, I can sure appreciate the talent that goes into building those things. Yeah, the style. Or says the style has definitely dropped off to accommodate the mainstream idea of what they should look like. Yeah, they. That's why when Dodge came out with their Charger and their Challenger, I was like, oh, now we're getting back into 1970s muscle car look. Good. little bit, they're definitely, a different design and all that, but man, they look like they should growl. And I was just thinking, give us more of that. But man, I remember when Chevy put out the new Malibu, right? I was like, oh, cool, they're putting out a new Malibu. Neat. I like the Chevy Malibus. Those are cool cars. And I looked at it and went, you turned it into a sedan? Well, most of these cars aren't even made to last 50 years. That's the thing. They're made to last 5 or 10. And then you get rid of them and buy a new car. It's all about, like, if you want sustainability, build something that's going to freaking last. And stop with this whole disposable society, BS. Build something that we can work on. Like if it breaks, we don't have to take it to Specialist Joe down the street because he's the only one that knows how to work on the stupid things. Because there's so many computers and other BS on them. Preach. Yeah. Sorry. You got me on a roll tonight, folks. I am I'm irritated by the recklessness of some aspects of our big C corporate cronyism capitalism. I watched Shelby versus Ferrari. Loved it. Great movie. Again, not a Ford guy. Great to see an American company take it to the Italians. It was great. It was great. It was fun. But where has that competitiveness gone? Because now it just seems like they're all just conglomerations of one another. There's no competition anymore. Here is your year 2024 Ford Cube. Okay. Why in the world would I want to own that thing? I know it's not a Ford Cube, but like the Honda Cube or the Nissan Cube or whatever. Yeah, none of these big corporations, car manufacturers, stereo manufacturers, TV manufacturers, they don't have the competition anymore because they're all in it. They're all just putting out junk. Don't worry, this TV will only last you 5 years. Yeah, they don't want to push it. I think that's one of the reasons why I like the fact that 3D printing helped revolutionize the miniature figure game. Because all the miniature figurine companies went, ruh-roh, we better do something, and we better do something quick, or every single miniature painter out there is going to have a 3D printer. I have one. I got it for free. A friend of mine gave it to me because he didn't want it anymore. But they're going to get a 3D printer and we're going to be out of business. So instead of them going double down on metal, and Reaper and Darksword, they still do metal figures. Hassle-Free will still do metal figures. Otherworld still does metal figures. Metal figures are not going to go away. However, there were quite a few of those companies that said, we'll do resin prints, and they're going to be better than the 3D prints that you get. So we'll do resin prints. They're going to be a little bit more expensive, but you'll like these. And then even a few others like Reaper, They went, we're going to do a whole new line of miniatures. They're going to be called bones. They're going to be plastic, and they're going to be $2. Because the price of tin, which is part of pewter, went up. And once they ran so many successful, I think it was like 6 successful Kickstarters for their Bones line of miniatures. That now they're like, oh, and we're going to do Bones USA. And we're going to do Bones Black. Those are 2 more plastic figures. Bones Black might be a little bit more expensive because you're going to get, more detail and stuff out of them. But it's still going to be less expensive than the $10 or $15 metal figures that you're getting from our metal line or from other companies. And they're still around. Darksword's still around. They're still putting out great figures. Otherworld's still around. I mean, but these other companies. I mean, you've got so many 3D printing miniature companies out there now. Loot Studios and Hero Forge, and even my buddy Trey from Redbox Games have gotten into the STL game. Hey, buy my STL and you can print it right at home. Cool. Miniature painters love the stuff. We just love the stuff. It doesn't matter what it's made out of. This dragon is 23 years old. This dragon's probably a year old, if not. But look at the detail. And I didn't have to put this one together. That's the great thing about 3D printed figures for the most part. Like this one here is from the Nolzar's Magnificent Minis line of D&D minis. I didn't have to put it together. It already came assembled. It's already on a base. It was already primed, so I could put that that red contrast paint over the top of it, and my little red dragon is now almost done. Compared to, well, I had to take 4 hours and clean this whole thing up and green stuff areas and pin and then glue it all together. I had to glue the head, the wings, this arm, the body onto the base, the tail on, and then I had to let everything set for 24 to 48 hours, and then I had to prime it. Okay. I think I'll paint this one. So, but that's a metal mini. This is a plastic mini. It's lighter. I don't have to worry about breaking stuff off of it. Same with this one. This is a plastic mini. This is a 3D printed resin figure. It's tougher than those other plastic Bones figures. It's got better detail. You might want to be careful about dropping it on a hard concrete floor though, because that's going to break, because I had to glue him onto the base. Yeah. This is a 3D printed figure too. This is a little Displacer Beast cub. Whatever. All these different figures that are out there. This one still. Cool looking cleric. Pretty bomb looking shield. That'll be fun to paint. Got a Highlander here. Still working on that one. You know, steampunk captain looking guy with a big metal fist. Plastic. Cut him off the base because I was going to use him on something else. How about your plastic, you know, owlbear? Just put him on a different base, put some other stuff on it. You know, put some basing materials on there. Call it good. This guy's fun. Big frickin' giant dire troll. Multiple heads, multiple arms. You know, I'm still working on this guy because I want to up that green a little bit more. He's getting dusty. I need to work on him more. But this one right here was my first 3D printed figure. This is my my Mind Flayer. He's actually holding the brain. But since it was my first, you know, it's not perfect. There's some stuff on it that's all messed up. And I glued him on this base. I had the base, you know. But yeah, that's my first one. Yeah, it's a pretty good print. You know, this is another buddy of mine's resin print. Little ghost pirate captain. He's gonna be fun to paint up. He's gonna go along with my other my skeleton pirate. I think I got another one too around here somewhere. But to give you a, you know, this is an old Raupartha Saxon that's missing an arm because the metal finally just disintegrated. But this is an old Raupartha Saxon spearman from like 1970 or 80 something. You know, so compare that. This is true 25 millimeter to a Reaper Bones heroic scale 25 millimeter. Like, this guy is tiny. This could be a frickin' halfling compared to her, who's an elf. Or this other elven paladin. You know, this guy's a halfling compared to her. But this is supposed to be a human. Historical. What crap, guy's tiny. So, yeah, what are you gonna do? Work on dragons, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna grab a little bit more of this, because there were some areas here that just didn't quite take. Like right there. Why are you hydrophobic? Boss is Lois. I should have to use some black on that. So anyway, that's my rant, I guess, about minis, companies. You know, this is an old Wizards of the Coast mini. So, okay, so now I need to do some shading because the red, it's a nice dark red, but we want to do some shading. So, I am going to use, if I can find it. Where the hell is it? It's green. Where's my purple? It's strong. There's my purple. So we're actually going to use a purple tone on this. And you might be thinking, what in the world is a purple tone? This is Army Painter's purple tone. It's kind of it says washes. It's kind of a wash. Could be considered a stain or even a glaze if we thinned it down. We're going to Put it right on the palette here. And we're going to go over our reds to get some... Actually, to put another color in, basically, so it's not all just red. So the purple is going to act as our shadow tone. It's going to get all the little nooks and crannies here. It's okay if I get it in the backs of the wings. It's just going to add more to the depth of our black. Here's one thing that I find that has this model has some inconsistencies, is that number one, this hand is super thin and skeletal, and this one is a little bit thicker. There's some cool scales right here on the shoulder that's not over on this shoulder. So whoever sculpted this was just, it seems to me like they just didn't take the time to get it done correctly. Oh, wait. It's a Wizards of the Coast product. Of course they didn't. Just get it out there. I don't care what it looks like. We'll fix it in post. Oh, no, they didn't, because it's a mini. And, and also, why is this dragon smaller than any... This is a red dragon. This is supposed to be an adult red dragon. Only if you are using true 25mm figures is this an adult red dragon. Because this little guy is even, you know, this should be like a young red dragon, not an adult red dragon. So the scaling is wrong. This is a young red dragon now. You know, this is baby, and even this, so that this should make sense, right? True 25mm, true 25mm baby red dragon. Stabby stabby, dead baby red dragon, right? For heroic scale, this figure is almost half the size of, say, our adult red dragon. Look at that. So, and don't worry, but you know, I've got this isn't for me, but I've got other bigger dragons that I can use, so I can scare the holy heck out of my players with large, intimidating dragons. That is not an issue. Like I said, I think this is being painted more for semi-nostalgia's sake on the part of the commissioner. Oh yeah, I've got some epically monstrous dragons. One that's 3D printed called Kerr that I painted blue and gold and purple. I've got a Bones Narthrax miniature. That's another dragon that I had posted that needs to be put together and painted. And even with the bone stuff, like the bigger stuff needed to be assembled, which is fine because it's going to be lighter because it's nice light plastic. But see, we can even take a little bit of this purple tone here. We're going to run this right into our blacks and grays just to give it some attitude. Oh yeah, I've got figures, man. I've probably painted thousands of figures by now. I've been painting for over 20 years. You know, started just slapping paint, but there. I don't think I did that part yet. Back in there. Yeah, back in there. Alright, I definitely need to let that dry now, so there is that. So while we let that dry, and I don't want, oh, that's a big glob of, sorry, I had to fix that because there was just a big glob of tone right there that I don't want. You can always go through with a wet brush and fix stuff. Okay, letting that dry. And that might take a while. That's almost like a 45-minute to an hour deal. I'm going to show you just on this. This is a pretty bright contrast paint red that we put over. I think it was like blood red or something like that. But I just want to show you on the wings what this purple can do. It's going to really darken that up. While still leaving the red highlights, basically. And I thought about putting this little dragon on the base. It's like, oh, this is like its little brother, but it's almost too big. It's almost too big for the base. I have a couple other ideas that I wanted to do on the base. But that's that. But we can either use purple, we could use blue, or we could use a red wash. I think I'm going to put a little purple in the ear things here. Just to keep that webbing kind of looking the same. There. Add a little bit more back in there. I think this is actually supposed to be a blue dragon, with the way that the ear wings are and the way that it has the underbite. And I got this little horn right here, but I think it looks pretty good. It's like a baby red, just for fun. Because sometimes dragons' colors look like they all shoot fire. That's what I did for my Galadania campaign. I ran a second ed D&D campaign for 12 years. And multiple players in and out. It was a living world. It was kind of, what do they call it, like a West Marches kind of a world. And yeah, ran it for 12 years. And my camera just died. There we go. And I had black dragons, I had red dragons, I had blue dragons, I had gold dragons, all different colors of dragons. And they, if they were fighting one, they would be like, oh, we're going to get this lightning breath weapon. If it was a blue dragon, or we're going to get the fire from the red dragon, or we're going to get acid from the black dragon. Nope. Every single one of my dragons breathed fire. Didn't matter what color they were. So yeah. Oh, I've got acid protection. Nah, it doesn't matter. He still breathes fire on you. Wait, he's a black dragon. Nope, doesn't matter. All my dragons breathe fire. Because that's my world. That's how I built it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was great. I had these things called Bane Wraiths that I took from a monstrous manual, but I added a couple of things to them. And the big bad evil guy was literally taking, at the time when these things were created, he was stealing babies and turning them into these wraiths. He was what am I trying to think of? What's the word that I'm thinking of? He was possessing the children with these evil spirits, and they would go fight the good guys, right? Terrorizing the town folk and all that fun stuff. And they ended up killing some of these, destroying some of these wraiths. Well, when they're destroyed, the robes, kind of like Jedi, they just plop on the ground. But they could hear children crying. And when they dug into the robes, they would find a baby. And when they cast Detect Evil on it, they would radiate evil. And so the paladin's like, we've got to kill these things. They're just evil. And all the rest of the group's like, that's a child. That's not even a year old. That's a baby. These are infants. What do you mean we have to kill them? They're evil. So yeah, I gave them a wonderful moral quandary on that. It was a ton of fun to use that on them. So this is the shield that's actually going to be on the base. And we're going to make it a red dragon scale shield. Because why not? Perhaps the guy that came to get this dragon's treasure likes to kill off red dragons. Well, this one didn't die so easily. So now this shield is going to be on, going to be part of his horde. Thank you. We're just going to do a couple quick layers here of that. So yeah, it's a pretty cool looking shield too. We'll let that dry. Alright, we're going to go into our coin pile. And we're going to grab some, this is old bronze, but we're going to actually turn them into gold coins. But we're going to start with this color first, which is kind of a nice A nice kind of a green bronze. Green, yeah, kind of a green bronze. And we're just going to dab this. It's nice and thinned. We're just going to dab this all over our treasure mound here. Alright, we gotta let that dry now. It shouldn't take too long. But we are going to do a wash over the top of it, and then we'll probably dry brush some gold over the top. So there's that. Let's see here. I don't want to do non-metallic metal. I don't. It's a pain in the butt. Especially for scenery pieces. Because the dragon, I want the dragon to be the focal point. So these are just like little scenery pieces that we're going to throw on. I gotta get back in there. Yeah, it's time consuming, and I don't mind doing it for competition pieces. But the only way that I would do it for a commission is if they asked me to do it. I want non-metallic metal on my armor. Okay. It's gonna cost you, but okay, because it's gonna take me forever to do. We're also going to kind of make this look a little bit more rusty, since it's been sitting in a dragon's hoard for a while and it's just regular metal. And this guy's actually got a kind of a nice little, kind of a broken section right here. So yeah, we're going to do some rusting effects on the blade and probably the helmet. The shield, however, is a dragon scale shield, so that's not going to have any rust on it. This is pre-painted. I did not paint this. And you can tell. So, what we're going to do for this piece is we are going to take... I gotta find that again. Strong tone? Yeah, dark tone. We are going to take dark tone, which is another Army Painter wash here. And it's pretty thick. And we're just going to run this all over, because we want this to kind of match what I've been doing. So we're just going to run this wash all over this piece here. Even the little bags, the whole spiel, because we're going to brighten up those bags. They just look too matte brown. They're just blah. That with this wash, we'll get down into the cracks and crevices. See, even that looks better. We don't want too much pooling, but we want... There we go. See, that gives it a little depth. It gives it some life. Speaking of that, that's nice and dry. So we can use the same dark tone. Oh, it's not completely dry. That's okay. It will be. It's okay if our wash gets in the... We'll just darken it up some. See? Like so. I thought it was dry already, but it's not, but it's okay. Now our wash will just have little shiny bits in it. Okay, so we got about 3 minutes left here. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go back upstairs and relax for the rest of the night and let the washes and stuff dry, and probably keep working on this tomorrow. I mean, we've still got the base to do. I'm probably not going to do much more on the base until I actually get the dragon and stuff glued onto it, because then I'm going to start putting on some technical paint, and I'll show you what that is. Jeez, I may have to go get some more. I'm going to be using some of the Sterling Mud, which is this stuff here. It's technical paint. This is, it's kind of grainy. This is actually the more mud-esque, so I might use this on certain parts of it. Like maybe around these little rocky outcroppings that I've gotten. But I've also got some Sterling Battlemire here. This is definitely more of the grainy stuff. I actually got to get some more of this. And then, what's this called? This is Astro Granite. This is definitely, again, more grainy type technical paint. Basically, it's just paint that's got some grit to it. And once it dries, do I have anything over here that has any of that? I don't currently. Oh, here we go. Once it dries, you can dry brush over the top of it, and it just looks like regular sand. And I also have some sand, and I've got some stones and stuff like that that I might throw on here as well, just to make it look a little bit more realistic. I've also got some cool other terrain spires. I think I've got some stalagmites that I might put on here, like around here, just to build it up and make it look like he's in a cavern. But I gotta go get those pieces and see how I want to do that. So this is definitely going to be a project. It's going to take me a while. It's going to be, you know, maybe a month of painting, of streaming, possibly, to get it to where I want it to be. And then, yeah, because this is going to sit here like so. And then this one's going to be over here. And this one's going to be over here. This one, this piece here is actually going to fit in pretty nicely right into the crook right there of the integrated base. I hope. That's the, well, I fit everything so that this section right here fits right into there. And they didn't do it on purpose, because it's something completely different, you know, different years, literally. So, and using the technical paint to kind of build up this base to match with this, and the painting scheme and everything, it's gonna be a bit. I'm not gonna do any like object source lighting or anything, because there's no light sources besides the dragon itself. Yeah. So anyway, hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you had a good time tonight. I will be back here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Central Time to keep working on it. But like I said, we got to get the washes dried, and I want to make sure that that purple wash is nice and set before we start going back and doing some mid-tones, and then are getting in our highlights and stuff like that. So yeah, see you all tomorrow. Thank you all for watching, and as always, happy painting, folks. Bye.